Hello, we are going to be starting lesson 11 today. Please know that this is a 2-day lesson and I am going to show you what you need to do for day 1. You're going to need to watch the video first, then come back. You're going to solve the word problem. Make sure you use cubes and read, draw, and write. Don't forget that you need to write a statement about the story that you just solved. Then you're going to come over to the problem set. This is going to seem like it's not very much work to do, but I want you to make sure that you're using your value discs on every single problem. If you have lost your value discs, I'm going to tell you that the next handful of lessons are going to require you using those value discs. So you may need to make another set. You're going to need them over the course of the next several lessons as we start to decompose ones, or as we decompose tens into ones. So please understand that even though these look very simple, you need to make sure that you're using your value discs on every single problem. Now for our face-to-face students, I have taken the problems that are on the problem set and I have put them on a larger piece of paper, simply because on each one of these problems you really do need to show the number bond. I guess you can do it on this if you want, but I'm giving my students, the students face-to-face, understanding that the number bond needs to be here. But they're still exactly the same problems that are on your paper. Here's 1A. Here's the second one going across, here's the third one going across, and the fourth one going across. So I've just put them on a larger piece of paper, simply because I need you to make sure that you're also including the number bond. Those number bonds are going to are very important in the next handful of lessons, so I'd like you to get in the habit of using those as we're finding the missing part with subtraction. Okay, so you are going to be doing problem A, that whole line, which is this first page. You can make a copy of this if you'd like on another piece of paper. Then you're moving over to the next line of problems. This would be the 1B problems. You can see that they match right up with what is on the paper. I've just put them onto another piece of paper to give the students a little bit more room to work. And then you're moving down to problem 2. Okay, oops, sorry, problem 2. Whoop, wait a minute. I didn't quite go right. Here's problem 2. Here's problem 2A, same one. Again, making sure that you use the number bond. Here's the second problem with 28 take away 9. And then you have your third problem, which would be the B problem, 25 take away 5 and 25 take away 6. Now the exit ticket is only 2 problems today. It's the problem C, and I have put that on a separate paper. I want you to be sure that you use your value discs. You're going to be manipulating those value discs the same way they showed you on the video, and then you can send your finished exit ticket to your teacher. I know it looks like it's a very simple problem, but I'm going to tell you that they get much more complex than this. Learning how to manipulate those value discs while you're subtracting and making decomposing a 10 will help your student as you progress farther into the lessons that are coming up in the next few days. So you're only going to be doing the problem set up to problem C. Problem C is going to be your exit ticket, and then day 2 will start right here. And I'll talk more about that one in the next video that will be out for you tomorrow. All right, so you need to now either leave the video or pause the video, go back and watch the Eureka video so that you understand how to decompose a 10 in a subtraction problem and how the number bonds are going to fit into what you're going to be doing today. And then I will come back and I will go over the problems with you and we can see how you did. All right, so pause the video. All right, welcome back. Hopefully you had a chance to go over these problems and try them out with your value discs. Those value discs are going to be very important, as I said earlier. So let's take a look at the word problem that you needed to solve today. Shelby had 35 oranges and 5 were rotten. There's two parts to this problem. How many of Shelby's oranges were not, that's the big important word right there, how many of them were not rotten? So I'm going to just look for right now at problem A, and then we'll come back to problem B here in just a minute. So we're just going to look at problem A. I've divided my workspace into two parts as I begin to show, set this problem up with my read, draw, and write. So I started off with Shelby had 35 oranges, and 5 of those, notice, were rotten. I'm trying to figure out what part is not rotten. So I have a whole and a part, and I'm trying to figure out the missing part. When I look at that in a number bond, the whole is at the top, at least in this one. My part is 5, and I'm trying to find out how many were not rotten. So I set up my subtraction problem. 35 take away 5 is 30. You should be using your value discs. I hope that you used your value discs for this problem, even though it's a fairly easy problem to do. I think you need to be practicing with those value discs because things get more difficult as we move into subsequent lessons. All right, so then you should have said that 30 of them are not rotten. From there, we're moving down to part B. Rosa picks 35 oranges, 2, but 6 are rotten. How many of Rosa's oranges are not rotten? So we actually have two different people. They're doing two different problems, and now we're going to take a look at Rosa. So Rosa has picked 35 apples. There's my 35. It says that 6 of them were rotten. I'm trying to figure out how many were not rotten. Okay, so these were the total oranges that she picked. Really does help to label things. So then I thought about my number bond. I drew my number bond with my whole being 35. 6 of them were rotten. I'm trying to find out the missing part and how many were not rotten. So I set this problem up as 35 take away 6. I started with 35 take away 6, gave me 29. And hang on. Yes, I remember what I did. I did this actually in two parts. If you were having a hard time knowing what 35 take away 6 was, which would be 29, and you should have been using your value discs, that would have helped you with that one. But you could have also broken things apart and said, breaking 6 apart into 5 and 1, 35 take away 5 is 30, and taking away 1 from 30 would give you 29. Either way, both of your answers would be 29 as the missing part. So there are 29 that were not rotten. All right, then once you do that, I'm not really using those value discs, even though these problems seem fairly simple, is really a good idea. So the written statement that you should be doing, this is a must. This is not a suggestion. This is something that must be done every day. 5 oranges out of the 35 are rotten. 30 are not rotten. 6 oranges out of the 35 are rotten. 29 are not rotten. All right, so now let's move on to this part of our problem set. So I'm actually going to work off of this sheet just because I think it's a little bit easier to see. Even though my answers are going to be the same, I want you to make sure that you use that number bond. So your first problem was 8 take away 7. My whole was 8. My missing number was this one here because I knew my whole. Here's my part, so here's my whole, here's my part, and I was trying to find the missing part. Hopefully you did you show this using your value discs? I hope that you used your value disc even though this was an easy problem. Okay, 38 take away 7. 38 was my whole, and 7 was my part, and my job was to find the missing part. 38 take away 7 was 31. Using your value disc would make that very simple. Okay, moving down to the next two problems, which would have been these two here. 38 take away 8. 38 was my whole. I was given the part, and I was trying to find out the missing part. So this was my question mark. 38 take away 8 equals 30. And hopefully you used your value discs when you solved that problem as well. And I'm going to keep saying that because I know it's going to be really tempting to just think, oh, I can count that on my fingers. Yeah, well, the ones that we're going to start doing in another day or two, you can't just count on your fingers. You really need to know how those value discs are working. So 38 take away 9. This was my whole was here, my part, my whole, and my part, and I was coming up with the missing part. My missing part was 29. Now the answers that are on this page are still the same. I've just spread things out just a little bit so that I can show the number bonds. So now I am moving down to, let's see, we are going to move to the B part of the problem. And here they are. So 7 take away 6. 7 was the whole. 6 was my part, and I had to come up with the missing part. Again, I'm hoping that you used your value disc to help you with that. Oops, this is 87, not 81. I goofed that up. No, I didn't do that right. Oh my gosh, Miss Star, you had it right the first time. So 87 was my whole. 6 was my part, and I was coming up with the missing part. 87 take away 6 is 81. I'm hoping you used your value disc as you work those problems out. 87 take away 7. 87 was my whole. 7 was the part I was giving, and I was looking for the missing part. 87 take away 7 would be 80. I hope you used your value discs on that. All right, so now we have 87 take away 8 and gets us to 79. Here is my whole right here and my part, and I'm looking for the missing part. And again, I'm hoping that you're using your value discs to help you with that. Then you were coming over to your exit ticket. If you choose to do the exit ticket here on this paper and send that to your teacher, that's fine, but make sure that you include the number bonds. I just wanted to make it a little easier for face-to-face and easier for you too if you choose to do it this way. So I'm not going to work these two problems because this will help me to understand that you are using your value discs and you understand how this is working. All right, and with that, my friends, hang on. With that, I'm going to say I hope that you have a great day of learning, and we will finish the rest of this problem set on tomorrow on day 2. So have a great day and send your exit ticket to your teacher. Bye-bye.